Hi, and welcome to Into the Blue Channeling with myself, Sarah Evans. Welcome back. I'm back. I'm in my records. We're doing this. Sorry for a brief interlude. I have had a lot coming through, a lot of pivoting and things happening. If you know, you know. But I am here to offer a new channeling message for you. By the way, Mary Magdalene has been coming in hot and heavy for me. She's been telling me that she has many messages to give to the collective at this time. So there's going to be a lot more from her. Not sure if we'll be hearing from her today exactly, but there's definitely going to be a lot more coming through from her. So much so that I've actually on YouTube, I've actually created a new playlist for all of the Mary Magdalene messaging. Okay, so if you really love her in particular, love her energy, I know I do, you can hit that playlist and listen to everything that she said so far to date, and I will add to that as we go along. But yes, I have a piece of news as well. I am offering a Reiki training and attunement online. Reiki 1 is being offered on Friday, the 15th of May. It's at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. UK time. And I would like to just formally invite each and every one of you, if you feel very interested in this topic, if you'd like the full scoop from me on this topic, because let's be fair, I have a particular perspective on a lot of this, on the multidimensional background of where energy healing is actually coming from, on the quantum physics of how it's actually working. So if you want the full scoop from me, if you're interested, intrigued by Reiki Energy Healing, maybe you have been to a lot of my sessions and really love how lovely it feels, and you're curious to learn more and learn how to heal your own self or send healing to others, come on down. And every Into the Blue member receives an additional 10% discount. So, in fact, if you sign up for Into the Blue membership, you immediately get like 10 previous videos, just like that. And you also get your money back if you're signing up for Reiki 1 and Reiki 2. You will instantly recover those costs. So I invite you as well, if you've been sitting on the fence saying like, oh, I'd quite like to be a member. I'd quite like to listen to all of what the PD9 are bringing forth privately. Here's your sign. Here it is again. Okay, well, yeah, like I said, I really I love doing this work. I do think that um, the Reiki healing and is as much a part of me, being the healer as being the channeler and as being a Akasha Records reader. You know, it's all for me a part of my essence and calling in this lifetime. So yeah, I feel honored and love to do this work, and I would love to share it with you if you're interested. Okay, so anyway, on with the show. Let's see what the PG9 want to say today. Can I please speak to the Pleiadian group of 9? They say present, present and correct. They're actually showing me a very like stereotypical like flying saucer type spacecraft. And they're showing me this flying saucer whizzing around a planet with rings. It's kind of like going. It's almost like creating its own rings around this planet with rings. Um, they're telling me that they're supporting and uplifting multiple planets in our solar system at this time. And all of the members of the Galactic Federation are very curious and very actively involved in this great awakening and great ascension process that we find ourselves in. Thank you. So is that Saturn you're showing? Yes. They're showing me Saturn. It looks so vivid and beautiful. They're saying how obviously we just had that stellium in Aries, where many of the planets of our solar system were aligned in the same moment. And the Pleiadians are like, yeah, so, we talk about new Earth all the time, but what about new Platon, new Saturn, or new Pluto, or new Mars? Every planet is in a process of evolution uplift. And the Pleiadians would like to acknowledge the impact of the planets upon us. They're saying that it doesn't matter if you are not so interested in astrology or astrological transits or happenings, but you should at least know that it is very real, very true, and very impactful upon your lives. They're saying it's all part of the design, all part of the grand design that we call life. Thank you. They're saying about Gaia, about planet Earth, she's very stepping into her divine feminine aspects at the moment. And you might be feeling a certain additional femininity around the earth and your experience of earth wherever you reside or visit. Examples of this are a more fruitful year in terms of what you're growing in your gardens or on your farms. She is giving so much additional fruit. She's bearing fruit, stepping into her feminine role of creation and helping to create and helping to nurture. With nurturing, you might have found that grounding and connecting with Mother Earth does feel extra supportive and extra nurturing at this time. And again, it is her divine feminine aspects are charging and releasing, charging and releasing. They enjoy this frequency, bathe in it. A lot of you are experiencing a great many things, and it feels intense and it feels destabilizing and it feels confusing at times. But take comfort, take the support of Mother Earth. She is here for each and every one of you. It can be as simple as laying in the grass or going for a wild swim. Whatever you can to bathe in the frequencies of the natural world. Let's do this. It's time to do this. Every time you feel yourself spinning out or getting confused, just ground down. You don't even need to be in nature to have grounding. Eat some of the fruit from Mother Earth. Focus on natural foods that grow from the ground. Vegetables, fruits, legumes, anything that is plant-based foods will help to nourish you and support you. Potatoes are obviously a lovely grounding item. This will help to support you as well. The plane's also showing me like herbal teas. You can make a beautiful herbal tea, chamomile, lavender, peppermint. Even better if you're pulling it off plants in your own vicinity, but obviously a store-bought mix is also fine. But yes, that will help you to ground in these turbulent times, upsetting energies. The planes are saying, but not all of you are upset. Some of you are feeling really good and really confident and clear, and they're actually like applauding. Well done. Carry on. You're doing great. Um, but they're cautioning that this fire horse year is at a gallop and it continues, and there will be more and more uh, events. They're saying that could be destabilizing or troubling for you. Um, there's going to be some earthquakes. If you live in a seismic active zone, if you live near fault lines, um, again, no need for panic or alarm, just to be ensure that you have your provisions in place and you have your plan. If you are in a potential tsunami zone, please, they're saying, please, have your plan of where your higher ground is. And they advise you to practice walking, climbing, getting to that high ground point that you have in mind and practice this. They're even showing me potentially practicing it at night time in the dark. And again, this is not to alarm anybody, but rather they just wish for your safety. So if you do, they're showing me that if you do live in a tsunami zone, it might be a useful exercise for you and your family to one night. Doesn't have to be 2 a.m. in the morning, but when after nightfall to get your torches and to have that practice run of making your way up to that higher ground point that you should already have a plan for. Okay. Okay, thank you. And they're showing me eruptions as well. So it's interesting how they're giving this information about Gaia being in her divine feminine, but at the same time, obviously, the Earth is very active, very active. So what would you like to say about eruptions? So volcanic eruptions. Um, the plane's actually calling me that it's one and the same, that when you have a lot of seismic movement, it will also bubble up with volcanic activity. This is not something I'm aware of myself, but they're saying it's basically one and the same thing. There's gonna be a potential for all of these events to take place at some point through this year. So again, if you are in a zone with living volcanoes, again, to have a plan. They're showing me Hawaii in particular. And across the Pacific in particular, I'm seeing bubbling up of volcanoes. Actually, volcanic activity under the water in like in the ocean as well. So they're like, yes, we just we really don't want to alarm or concern anyone too much, but rather this is a precautionary discussion. Um, they're saying for everybody, regardless of where you live or what you do or how you do it, in this year of 2026, there's just a lot of energy, a lot happening. And so it's really useful to have plans to support yourself if the electric's cut out for a few days or if the water goes off for a few days, whatever, come what may, just have some plans in place. They're showing me as well having some cash, some physical cash reserves in case electric banking systems cut out for some days. It doesn't have to be a stockpile of stuff to last for months. They're just saying like just to have enough for you and your family, have medicines as well, for they say at least a 2 to 3 day period, at least for a 2 to 3 day period, just to cover in case of turbulence. They're saying turbulence in the force. That sounds like Star Wars. Turbulence in the force. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's very interesting insights. Okay. Okay, and now we'll ask a couple of audience questions. I have migrated to, instead of having a Q&A session, of just putting in a Q&A into each fortnightly channeled content. So here we are. I've got a couple of great questions that came through from a listener. So we'd like to know, are there, according to the Pleiadians, asking the Pleiadians, are there beings living inside the earth? If so, is there a suggested way to connect with them? All right. Asking if there is living beings inside the earth and how to connect with them, if so. The planes are laughing at me because they absolutely know that I personally know this answer. But let's hear what they think about it. They're saying yes, absolutely yes. Planet Earth is more alive than you can possibly, like most people have consciousness to consciously realize. Um, there are many beings, elementals and fae, the fae community that reside inside, underground, inside the earth. They're laughing because this question actually speaks to what they were just talking about. Um, So inside the earth are the core elements, elementals of fire, of water. Obviously, the fire elemental is going to be active this year, very active this year. But these are living entities that, by the way, you can call on to assist you in your manifestations, in your work to empower yourself. Every time they're saying that every time you light a fire and you watch the fire, you are invoking the element of fire, and this element strong in this year. Just saying it's element strong in this year, and we urge caution with the element of fire this year that you don't want to burn yourself or start a wildfire. That's very that's the sort of energy that we're in. These things are possible, but you can work with the element of fire to ignite you. You know, with candle magic, you can light a candle and make an intention. You know, people cut cords with two candles and things like this. So that's a certain way that you can work with the element of fire. But they want to also mention about the Fae. So members of the Fae realm reside both above ground and below ground. There are many different types of Fae that are below ground. There's like these like gnome like peoples that I've spoken to in the past. Um, they're showing me there's like a type of Fae that looks a bit like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. Like it's quite a kind of not scary, but just kind of quite kind of lots of skin. And the limbs are I'm actually seeing this elemental like almost like with it's kind of a skin a bit like a human skin, but has multiple arms and legs, and so is a bit kind of spider-like in movement and things like this. They're showing me one of those. Thank you. And the Pleiadians are also acknowledging that there are dragons underneath the earth as well. That dragons live subterraneally. Um, and they come in all shapes and sizes. You can get like little tiny dragons that are like the size of a fly or bee. And then you get much larger dragons that are more kind of in the collective consciousness. Um, and they're saying, how can you work with these? Well, at the end of the day, you just need to focus in, set an intention that you want to connect to one of these groupings. And you can set an intention that it's for your highest good and that you're protected from anything that, isn't for your highest good, right? Just to kind of, if this sounds scary or a bit kind of like intimidating to you, you can set the intention and be in the steering wheel place of this. Um, Set intention and then you connect in and you can go on a meditative journey where you're literally just going down underground into one of these spaces. And I've guided people on these journeys where they're going underground, and you'll find underground that it's a lot more hollow. There's a lot more kind of cave, like cavernous, like large halls and spaces underground, which is where you will run into these entities. Um, Also, I've done a lot of Akashic Records readings and readings for people where we've found out that they have spirit guides who are these entities, that they've had past lives in these situations. So the person asking this, if you feel like this is a topic where you're like, this feels quite personal, then that might be something at play as well. Okay, thank you. And I'm just going to ask one more question. Um, so the second question is, what are the dragon scales NASA photographed on Mars? And they've sent a picture. So it's interesting because we're just talking about dragons. What are the dragon scales that were photographed on the surface of Mars? What is this? The Pleiadians say that what this is evidence. Evidence. Evidence of dragons and reptilian life forms on Mars. The planes are saying that Mars didn't used to be like this. It didn't used to be so barren, so empty seeming. There used to be a lot of life upon Mars. Um, and there were large communities of reptilian entities residing on Mars. Um, there was a power struggle. There were wars that took place on Mars, and the power struggle led to catastrophic events that left Mars in the condition that we find it today. But the dragon scales in the image is evidence of this life, this previous life on Mars. Just like in an archaeological dig, where you're digging down the surface of the earth and uncovering evidence of previous life. This is an example of that sort of archaeological findings. Um, I'm asking if like obviously are dragons reptilians or are dragons? I can say that dragons are sort of adjacent to reptilian races, but dragons actually reside more in the category of the Fae, connected to the Fae realm. Dragons sit, they're showing me that the dragons sit in the category of Fae, but also very much connected to the elemental realm as well. For the three of them, it's kind of like a Venn diagram of overlap. Basically, they're showing me of which dragons sit in the center between the elemental realm and the Fae realm, and the dragons are kind of like this pivot point between the two, is what they're showing me today. Thank you so much. All right, well, I'll end there. Thank you so much for listening, and I really do hope to see some of you at my Reiki course. I am so excited to do this. I have trained and attuned people to Reiki in the past. In fact, I just today received a review of somebody. I was asking, can you send me a review of how you found me training? And I literally just received this. Maybe I'll put it on the post. But she says, I highly recommend taking a course with Sarah. She showed incredible patience, kindness, and dedication throughout the course. Um, da, da, da. Says Sarah is an exceptionally caring professional and committed teacher. Thanks to her, learning was not only possible but also enjoyable. I truly recommend her to everyone. This is literally a review that I received this morning about having Reiki training and achievement from moi. So yeah, I would love you to come on this adventure with me and for you to open up to so much more. By the way, I neglected to mention this at the start, that for those that want to get deeper into your intuitive gifts, Reiki attunement will definitely help to crack all of that wide open as well. Right? Like because learning how to read the Akasha, being trained in Reiki just really helps you to connect to source and connect to universal energy, and you become a conduit of universal energy, and it's a beautiful and a wonderful thing. So yeah, like it will really help with your clair abilities as well, as well. Lastly, I'll say, because something I get in my in-person Reiki healings here in Sheffield, I receive a lot of people who are already Reiki attuned and they come to me for Reiki healing. One of my friends actually joked and just like said, your brand name should, your brand slogan should be Reiki Master for the Reiki Masters, because the amount of Reiki Masters that come through. And do healings with me is it's a thing. It's quite noticeable. But I'll say as well to anybody who's already attuned to Reiki, but maybe you're feeling not confident, maybe you're feeling rusty, maybe you're feeling like you would really love a reattunement, you're also very welcome to sign up to this. Like if you want to refresh, if you feel like you were attuned 20 years ago and you've basically not practiced and it's kind of been forgotten, by all means, I am very happy and welcoming of everybody, whatever your background is for now. I would say, though, that in order to take this course, you have to have at least experienced Reiki a few times. Can be a distance Reiki, can be a Reiki recording, but you need to have experienced Reiki to know what it is that to have had that experience, because it's one of those things. It's kind of hard to explain, and you had to have had at least one or two Reiki experiences of your own in order for it to be meaningful to take this training and attunement. All right, enough about me. Take good care of yourselves, sending much love and light, and see you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to Into the Blue Channeling. Please do like and subscribe to receive about our upcoming episodes. For further information, including how to submit your own question for Pleiadians, find us on social media at Into the Blue Channeling. See you next time!